Good evening. Just as an FYI, council meetings are now live streamed. To view the council meetings live, go to WCTV-NJ's YouTube channel here and click on the channel, inside the channel, Township Council Meetings. The YouTube live stream will be available to view during the live council meeting. Welcome to the regularly scheduled public meeting of December 7th, 2020 of the Township of Washington Township Council. Adequate notice of the meeting was given in accordance with the Open Public Meetings Act by the Township Clerk to at least 2 newspapers in January, and this meeting has been posted on the Township Bulletin Board, the Electronic Message Board, WCTV, and on the Township website. Salute to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Do roll call.
Councilman Casio.
Here.
Councilman Cumming.
Here.
Councilman DeSena.
Here.
Councilwoman Morgan.
Here.
Council President Feeney.
Here. Let the record reflect also in attendance Mayor Calamari, Township Administrator Tovo, Township Attorney Poller, and Township Clerk Wachowski. Public service announcement for December 7th, 2020. Coronavirus. For the latest updates and message from our health officer, please visit the Township website. COVID testing. Bergen County has launched a drive-through COVID testing site at Bergen Community College through December 30th, 2020. The program will offer antigen nasal swab rapid COVID-19 tests that provide results in 24 hours or less. Please visit our website for dates and you need to register and registration information. You need to register for the COVID testing. Kindergarten registration has opened. Please visit our website for registration information. Holiday home decorating contest. Bring out the tinsel, bring out the bows, bring out the lights, and cue the snow. Enter the Township of Washington's holiday home decorating contest. Winners. Your home will be featured on social media and a winner chosen through online voting, plus receive a holiday prize basket and lawn sign displaying your achievement. The deadline for all entries must be submitted by 6 p.m. on Wednesday, December 23rd, 2020. Online voting begins December 24th and ends at midnight on January 2nd, 2021. Winner will be announced on January 3rd on Facebook. Entries will help create a map for families to visit your creative work in person. 2020 PBA Toy Drive. The 32nd annual PBA Toy Drive is happening. Over 45 participating agencies collecting toys to make the holiday special. Tomorrow's Children's Hospital, U.S. Military Families, Valley Hospital Pediatric Center are just a few organizations that benefit from our toy drive. Please donate a new unwrapped toy to our police headquarters located at 350 Hudson Avenue. The box is just in the lobby, so you don't have to make any contact with anybody. Washington Township Fire Department Christmas Tree Sale. This year, the fire department is selling trees, wreaths, and other greens at Memorial Field daily from 10 a.m. to 9 p.m. Tree prices range from $25 to $150.
That one comes with a squirrel.
Say that again. Okay, so tonight we have the proclamation for the Contemporary Women's Club 60th anniversary. Mayor Calamari.
Yes, thank you, Stacy. We have a proclamation tonight. Whereas the Contemporary Women's Club of Washington Township is celebrating its 60th anniversary, and whereas the Contemporary Women's Club is regarded by the township as longtime friends of the community, and whereas they have constantly given their time and talents to this community and have generously shared their endeavors and special qualities with the mayor and council alike, and whereas the mayor and council recognize the impact they have had on this community and how thorough their multi-efforts for the last 60 years the Township of Washington has benefited. Now, therefore, the mayor and council offer their deep appreciation for the group's unselfish donation of time and energy expended in their constant services to the community. And now, therefore, be it resolved that I, Peter Calamari, Mayor of the Township of Washington, Bergen County, do hereby proclaim that the Contemporary Women's Club of Washington Township receive public acclaim, for their extraordinary accomplishments as residents of the Township of Washington. In witness thereof, I have hereunto set my hand and caused the seal of this office to be affixed the 7th day of December 2020. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you very much. Congratulations to the Contemporary Women's Club. Okay, approval of minutes. January 6, 2020, Sin Day meeting, January 6, 2020, reorganization meeting, and January 6, 2020, conference meeting. Motion to approve.
So moved.
I'll second. Sue, roll call. If you're, guys, some of you are on mute. Desiree, you're on mute. Okay. Sue, I think you might be on mute.
Jess.
Can I do
Get on mute. I'm
Okay.
sorry.
No, it's okay.
It's done better.
Councilman Casio.
Yes.
Councilman Cumming.
Yes.
Councilman DeSena.
Yes.
Councilwoman Morgan.
Yes.
Council President Feeney.
Yes. Okay, appointment to the fire department. Membership application from Matthew F. Camargos, sorry, excuse me for the mispronunciation, for the Township of Washington Volunteer Fire Department. Motion to approve.
So moved.
So moved.
Second.
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 Sue, roll call.
Councilman Casio.
Yes.
Councilman Cumming.
Yes.
Councilman DeSena.
Yes.
Councilwoman Morgan.
Yes.
Council President Feeney.
Yes. And now we have the report of the mayor. Mr. Mayor?
Thank you again. Good evening. As forecast, we are dealing with another wave of the coronavirus. Hopefully, this will be the final one. As of December 4th, we have 251 positive cases among our township residents. Please keep them and their families in your thoughts and prayers. I was thrilled and not surprised to see the generosity of our residents in giving so people could enjoy a Thanksgiving meal safely at home. It was great that some of our dedicated township moms, including Councilwoman Feeney and Morgan, saw a need and put a plan into action. I was honored to be asked to assist in delivering the meals. Helping to deliver the meals was truly a joyous experience. Seeing the looks on people's faces to know that their community is there to support them was a gift I will cherish always. As a member of the Knights of Columbus, I was happy to participate in their food drive on Saturday by driving around the town picking up donations. Again, our residents made the town proud by donating over 400 bags of items desperately needed by local food banks this season. On behalf of the Knights, I would like to thank you all for your generosity to this appeal. I usually do not comment on Board of Education matters, but during their meeting on September 17th, I urge everyone young, old, and in between to let your voice be heard regarding the naming of the high school football field after everyone's pal, Vito Troutz. His dedication to the teams that played there during the years was second to none. This will be another fitting and well-deserved tribute to him. If you are unable to attend the meeting, please show your support by emailing the board. Their email addresses are available on their website of www.rsd.org. The new firehouse ambulance building continues to move ahead. I was able to attend the most recent construction meeting. Those meetings take place regularly between the architect, contractor, engineer, members from both the fire and ambulance corps, and town officials. I have not reported on the emergency services radio project for a while. In the beginning of the year, it was decided among the emergency service departments that we should wait for the county to complete its work on an additional radio tower they are constructing in Paramus that will support the latest 700 megahertz digital frequency before making our final decision. The county has now approved us to test that tower before it goes live in their network. Representatives from Motorola attended our last meeting, and between them and the county, we should have radios to test within the next couple of weeks. Earlier this year, we tested their system on the current UHF frequency, and the test went very well, so we are expecting this new digital frequency to test even better. I am also happy to report that based on preliminary information, it looks like our estimated cost of $750,000 will be close to the actual cost. I'm pleased to report that the town applied for and received a grant from the state of New Jersey, Department of Transportation, fiscal year 2021 Municipal Aid Program in the amount of $210,000. This year, the program received 635 applications from 549 municipalities. We now have agreements in place from some of the property owners for the property the county requires us to acquire to move ahead with the project of the intersection at Pascack Road and Washington Ave. We are optimistic that the balance of the agreements will be forthcoming shortly. The 2021 budget process is well underway. All the department heads were asked in November to submit their budgets, and most have done so. I will review their requests with the administrator and CFO during this month. While reviewing the budget, I also looked at the capital projects approved since 2018. I'm happy to report that most of them are completed, and those that are not are certainly well underway, including the ones that were just recently approved for 2020. New Welcome to Township signs and a new honor roll sign at Town Hall were installed on Friday. I'm very pleased with how they came out. They add to the welcoming environment that the residents show to visitors to the town each and every day. In working with the administrator, director, and DPW superintendent, we believe we have come up with a good plan to temporarily relocate the department's equipment while the building is being demolished and the soil under it remediated. I expect to have a more detailed report for the public and the council at the next council meeting. I want to recognize the great job the DPW is doing on leaf collection this season. Between having the necessary equipment, staffing level, and most importantly, the morale among the employees, they are operating at peak efficiency. They take pride in their work, and it shows. The superintendent is also putting out updates as to where they have been and where they will be in the upcoming days. Last night was our COVID-safe holiday lighting event. Over 150 carloads of people attended to see Rudolph and Frosty, and thanks to our fire department, Santa was able to attend. As always, I thank Public Affairs Director Daisy Velez and all the volunteers who give freely of their time to these events for our residents to enjoy. Last but certainly not least, I want to congratulate the newly combined programs with Westwood of the Junior Cardinals football program, who won the championship over Norwood by a score of 12-7, and the junior cheer program. The girls, boys, and all involved work extremely hard in this difficult year. We are teaching our children at a young age that they can accomplish almost anything when they work together as a team. For more information, please see the article in this weekend's Pascack Press. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Councilman Casio.
Yes, good evening, everyone. I hope everyone's had a nice Thanksgiving Day holiday and they're ready for the season's festivities. Mayor Calamari kind of covered pretty much everything that's going on in town, and I appreciate everyone for their generosity for the Thanksgiving food drives that Councilwoman Feeney and Morgan put together. It's nice to see the community getting together and helping those out less fortunate than some. And on that note, I will give it on to the next council person. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman Casio. Councilman Cummings.
Yes, ma'am. Good evening. I was asked by the mayor to make a short remembrance on December 7th. And here goes. I'm going to try to read something and see how it goes. I hope it's not too long. On December 7th, 1941, a date that will live in infamy, as FDR said during that memorable speech, the date of the beginning of World War II, just commonly known and documented by Ken Burns as the war, between 50 and 70 millions of people were killed in the conflicts which involved the entire globe except for Switzerland. Generalissimo Franco had a civil war in Spain. Hitler and Germany aided him, and then Hitler turned on his neighbors. More than 6 million of Jews were murdered in agony, starting with Kristallnacht in the 1930s. Japan invaded China and then the Philippines and then attacked Hawaii at Pearl Harbor. More than half the United States was in service or involved in the war effort. In my own family, my uncle was killed during the invasion of Anzio, Italy. My father was a flight engineer on a B-29 that bombed Japan. And my mother was a telegrapher and a photographer, seaman first class in the United States Navy at Church Street Station in Brooklyn. My father-in-law, of German Bavarian descent, fought in Europe using his language skills to speak to the villagers as the army progressed. He had the language skills that he could warn them that the good guys were coming and the bad guys were on the run. And it came in very handy. My Uncle Andy in the Marines was pinned down on a beach in the Marianas for 48 hours. If you would like a free copy of my father's manuscript, about 30 pages, about one mission on January 27th, 1945, send me an email and I will send you at the town address and I will send you a copy. It's Cumming at the Township of Washington .us. And I think it's on the website. I'm quite sure it is. It's a first-hand account of 15 B-29s out of the squadrons and squadrons and squadrons that on January 29th bombed Tokyo, and how many came back. In fact, there's a chap named Fitzgerald who's mentioned countless times it's very interesting, and he came from Ridgewood, New Jersey. On a brighter note, Hanukkah, the Festival of Lights, begins on Friday, and we wish our Jewish brothers and sisters and friends happy best of holidays. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman Cummings. Councilman DeSena.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you for all the great words, Mr. Cumming and Mr. Mayor. Couple quick things just to, as Council President Feeney said before, please support the local fire department. They got some great trees, great wreaths, and great blankets. They're doing a great job at Memorial Field in this environment, having to change. Today, it's National Immunization Week. So as a reminder, please go get your flu shots if you haven't already done so. And today, of course, is the day of infamy, and God bless all the lost souls we had, lost on this day. That's all I have today, Mrs. Feeney.
Thank you, Councilman DeSena. Councilwoman Morgan. Desiree, you're on mute.
Mute.
Unmute.
Okay. I said not much more I can add to that without being redundant. A couple of things I just want to touch on. I think the signs look absolutely gorgeous. They're beautiful. I don't think I expected them to be such a brilliant blue. It really does. It definitely exceeded my expectations. It's beautiful. So well done. And Mr. Cumming, thank you so much for your family's service and for that remembrance. That was truly remarkable, and I think I will definitely be picking up a copy. It sounds like a great read, so appreciate that. I want to wish everyone a happy Hanukkah for those who celebrate it upcoming, and hope everybody remains vigilant, stay safe. The hospitals, just be comforted in knowing that what I am seeing, although we are ticking up and the trend is going in the wrong direction, it seems a little different this time. So, people overall aren't as sick with this virus as we were seeing. So that's a really good thing. Vaccines, thank you, Mr. DeSena. Vaccines are coming out. It's important to, weigh your options, obviously choose what's good for you, but speak to your physician to see if it's something worth. I personally will be getting it. Just putting that out there as a healthcare professional. I know a lot of people are on the fence. I don't know if my opinion, is worth anything, but I think it's worth getting. Just wanted to say that, and don't be in a panic. We're all in this together, but this time around it does seem to be a little more manageable because we have a better grasp on what we're dealing with, and stay vigilant. That's it.
Thank you,
for your
Councilwoman Morgan.
service, Des.
Yes, thank you.
Excuse me.
Thank you.
Everybody covered a lot of things this evening. I want to again reiterate Councilman DeSena and Councilman Cummings on Pearl Harbor for all the lost souls. The signs do look beautiful. They are a great addition to the town. I think great job on that. Happy Hanukkah for this Friday. Should be hopefully the weather improves a little bit, so we have some outdoor Hanukkah celebrations would be nice. I want to say thank you very much to the mayor and our public relations team, which is made up of 3 women in town who have greatly given their time. And I have to tell you, the drive-through lighting, tree lighting last night was really nice. And my daughter enjoyed it immensely, and she loved getting her little candy cane full of candy. So that was really nice. And I want to just say thank you. And she loved seeing Santa on the fire truck. So, and that was really nice that she could lean out the car and wave to him. I think that really was a nice presentation of doing it in a safe COVID environment. So thank you very much. And that's all I have for this evening. Do Mr. Tovo or Mr. Pollard have anything?
Not I.
I don't.
Okay, thank you. Okay. Now we are on to general public comment. To participate in the general public comment portion of the meeting, please dial in on 201-664-4659. You will be asked to state your name and address for the record, and we ask that only one person speak at a time. There is a 5-minute limit per caller. Please note that this is public comment, and comments by the council or mayor or administrator will be at the end of the public comment section. At the end, no more calls will be accepted. And also for the people who I asked who stayed on the line last time, please visit YouTube to watch the comment section, because we are going to close the line this evening since we do have the YouTube streaming live now. Again, the phone number is 201-664-4659. Thank you. Motion to open the public comment portion of the meeting.
So
We have
moved.
a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Can I throw in something real quick while we're waiting for the person to dial in? Gina
on.
DiVeriglio did a great deal on the Thanksgiving dinners, and I wanted to mention that for her and for all the things she does for the town as far as computer work and photography and putting things together on the computer. There's a lot of talent there. Thank you. I'm sorry to interrupt the caller.
No, you're fine.
I do apologize.
Okay, is there anyone on the line?
Yes, this is Brian Sinclair, 864 Ridgewood Boulevard East.
Yes, Mr. Sinclair, what can we do for you this evening? Thank you for calling in.
Yes, I just, going back about 4 or 5 weeks, I met with 3 or 4 council members regarding 450 Pascack, and a couple of questions came out of there that were from Mr. Pollard, Ken Pollard. He was going to speak to the planning board about the potential of rezoning 450 Pascack Road. And the other question was writing an ordinance to ensure that the property is consistent with the town's master plan. Those are the 2 questions I had, and I wish everybody a happy holiday.
Thank you, Mr. Sinclair.
Thank you.
Is there anyone else on the line?
Hello,
Hello, yes, good evening.
my name is Mary Ann Osment, 960 Adams Place.
Yes, Mrs. Osmond.
In reference to the 3 ordinances that were introduced on November 9th, it seems that on November 19th, the ordinances were in the paper in the legal section, and then on November 21st, they were there again. And I kind of wondered why they were there twice. And as I was reading them over, when I was looking at it, it seems that one of the ordinances, Ordinance 20-17, was the only notice the second time around that had the notice of introduction with it. The other 2 ordinances didn't have it. And I was wondering if there was a reason for that, or, you know, why that happened. Also, it seems that the planning board, the planner for the township, Stan, was at the planning board, was at the Zoom planning board meeting, and he explained these 3 ordinances. They're very, very difficult ordinances to understand for lay people because of all the legal jargon in them. And I was just wondering why the planner couldn't come into a Zoom meeting for the council or whatever the meeting type it is in order to explain to the residents and the council about these three very difficult ordinances. I also have another question, and that has to do with the bill list. It seems that Ricky, who does the filming, he was paid April, May, June, and July. Why would the gentleman not be paid on a timely basis, and it would be so many at one time? I just don't understand that. There are ways of doing purchasing that he could be paid on a monthly basis and not, this is a lot of money for the person to wait to get his, money for. And I need to understand that because he actually got 13 $300 checks. And it actually is 14 because one of them says videotaping council meetings and it doesn't have his name on it, but $300, I'm sure it was for him. I also would like to know, in your agenda, you have the calendar, you're talking about it. I urge, if you're going to do the calendar, which, I don't care either way, I would appreciate it, as asked before, if you could put in the names of the employees, including the police, the DMS, and the firemen. I mean, they work for this town. They know their names, putting it into the paper. I'm not asking for personal information. Their names have always been, actually pictures had always been in the calendars before. And I think it's very important for the residents to know who their firemen are, to know who their police officers are, and the people come around for the DMS. Also, your format for your general public discussion, it still says that, even though you're only saying it's comments. And I think it's very difficult because I don't seem to have people writing down all these questions to give answers. I don't know how many people have called in these many, many months, and they never get their answers. And it's almost embarrassing to know that these, we can't come and actually come to a meeting. And that's why I haven't asked any questions. I have so many questions to ask of this council, you just cannot believe it. The one other thing, it seems that the planning board, the zoning board, the ambulance corps, the VFW, everybody uses Zoom. And it works very well. But the township council refuses. And I don't know why they refuse to use the Zoom. And, somebody said security. Public meetings are public meetings. There's no such thing as a security issue that it would be offended. I just don't understand that. I think there's really something wrong with the whole situation. Let me see here. Also, if the meeting is December 21st for the three ordinances, unless it has that notice of introduction with the ordinances, I'm not sure you're going to be able to have that meeting on December 21st and having the second, having the public hearing for the three ordinances. I think somebody's going to have to really look into it. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Osmond. Is there anyone else on the line?
Hello, anyone else there?
Hi, this is Diane Grimaldi.
Hello?
441 Danenberg Avenue.
Yes, Mrs. Grimaldi.
I am calling to see if I would get an answer tonight for my question from the last meeting a month ago as to why the Vivianos are getting a refund for their overpaid taxes. I still have a hard time believing they paid $12,500 instead of the $12,000 that they owed in a 2020 quarter. I would also like to ask what we're doing. When Mayor Calamari said that we received a $200,000 DOT grant, what is the town planning on doing with that money? And my last question is, I would also like to know how much we are paying for Ninja. I don't see it on the bill list anywhere. And that's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Grimaldi. Is there anybody else on the line?
Yes, there is.
Yes.
Hello.
Good evening.
Yes, this is Julianne Lipnick, 184 Finity Place.
Yes, Mrs. Lipnick, how are you?
I'm fine, thank you. I really don't have any questions tonight. More as a matter of a statement that I wish to use my 5 minutes for. Mayor Calamari, this is primarily directed to you, and this is in response to your statement back at the council meeting of November 9th in reference to Veterans Day. November 11th is a solemn day set aside to honor our veterans and our servicemen and women who gave selflessly to our country. Kennedy Place, where we reside, was once known as Westgate Road. It is a memorial street dedicated to the one and only young soldier from Washington Township who fought and died in Vietnam. The VFW fought tirelessly to the town for years to try and get a street named in his honor. From our doorstep is the beautiful military memorial built by the Eagle Scout, James Stickle. It honors all of those who served and stands proudly as a tribute to them. To the right of my front door is Memorial Square at the foot of Town Hall, honoring all hometown servicemen and women who gave up their lives. We come from a military family. Thank you, Mr. Cummings, for bringing your history to our attention. My husband served as well during Vietnam on sea. My brother-in-law on land in Vietnam. My father-in-law survived Pearl Harbor, as did his brother. My uncle was shot down over Germany in World War II, and my list goes on. Mayor, in the meeting of November 9th, you canceled Veterans Day services because of the impending rainy weather and COVID, which prevented indoor services. Respectfully, I understand that. However, Mayor, a wreath placed at each site would have been a show of honor and respect, but there was none. Neighboring towns like Westwood, Emerson, Hillsdale, and Paramus did not let rain and COVID prevent them from a display of respect on that most solemn and sacred day. I know you posted something on Facebook, but many residents do not have Facebook or even follow you. In closing, Mayor, I wish to say this. Please remember all military lives matter, past and present, rain or shine. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Lipnick. Is there anyone else on the line?
Hello?
Yes, good evening.
Good evening. This is Michael Ullman.
Yes, Mr. Ullman.
I would like to ask Council President if you could explain the process for follow-up when the open session closes, the public session closes. There were some questions asked at the last meeting, and it was my impression from the follow-up discussion that responses would be received. I don't know if it's meant that they would come personally to me or be discussed at the next meeting, but one question that I had asked about was the sunset of the, I guess, farmland exemption for the Viviano property and what the measurement is for that. The other was the mayor had mentioned that there was a oil tank that had been identified on at the emergency service building, and that had to be handled, and I don't believe that was part of the original plan, so it would eat into the contingency. I was wondering how much that remediation was. In terms of current or new questions, has the township started doing background checks on their volunteers and individuals who are interacting with children? I saw the mayor and members of the Green Team, at a working with the Boy Scouts for tree planting. And I guess my question is, based on the ordinance, should those members of the Green Team have a background check done on them? And my assumption is yes. And I'd like to know if they were done, and when are we going to start if we haven't? The other questions are regarding the redevelopment of the DPW site. The first is we seem to be making a plan to move the trucks and rehouse the staff, but I haven't seen, or I don't believe it's been discussed, the actual plans for the DPW. What is going to be built there? Have we gone out for bids on the remediation? It seems we're finding a spot to house the people, but, you know, have we gone out to bid for the remediation work around the DPW, the soil remediation? And the last question I had is, has the sale of the ambulance building been complete? Property, I'm assuming, is going to be used as part of the new DPW facility, and the rehousing of the ambulance at the emergency services building was agreed to, and one of the conditions was that the township was going to purchase the ambulance building. And I was just wondering, has that sale been complete? Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Ullman. Is there anyone else on the line?
Yeah, hi. Can you hear me?
Yes, absolutely.
Hi, my name is Anthony Udina. I live at 876 Ridgewood Boulevard East.
Yes, Mr. Udina.
I first want to just thank you for the tree lighting ceremony last night. It was good. Driving through it, seeing the characters. My daughter had a great time. Thank you for that. Thank you for the Skittles candy cane. That was great. Second thing I want to talk about is it's been a topic of 450 Pascack Road for some time now. And in the last mayor and council meeting, I asked if there was an update on anything that's been done on that. I understand that Council President Feeney responded that you know, it's being looked into and that things take time, which is understandable. I wanted to know if you have any update, and also if this is an active item on your list of things to address, if it's still active or not. Mayor Calamari responded that he spoke to the commercial real estate company on the sign in front of 450 Pascack Road, and that it's not for sale. I would like to know, Mayor Calamari, if this is still an active thing on your plate, if you have any update on that, if there's anything further you're going to do about 450 Pascack. Councilman DeSena responded that this is a matter for the zoning board, and that, you know, they're, you know, if something comes along, they will be looking at it, and which is understandable. I want to know, Councilman DeSena, if this is still an active thing on your list, or if this is, you know, something that you're done with. And I also want to know if the other council members have any comments on 450 Pascack Road or development in general, the major projects that's going on, and that is basically all I have to talk about. I would just like an update, and I would like to know if 450 Pascack is still active with the mayor and council. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Udina. Anybody else on the line? Motion to close public comment?
Sorry, last one. Joseph Scalia, 813 Ridgewood Boulevard East.
Yes, Mr.
Just a couple of questions. With the recent developments in town, previous ordinances are allowing for rental properties. I was just curious on, do we have a maximum of the amount of rental properties we'll be allowing in the township with the developments that are taking place? As you know, the more rental properties you have, the landscape does definitely change in a town where people are transient versus people that own the property and paying taxes. So I would just ask if there is not an ordinance in regards to maximum number of rental properties that the council and mayor reevaluate how many rental properties we really do want in our town. The second, I want to thank Councilwoman Morgan for all her work for the cheer team and the football program. It was a great year for the program, even though COVID definitely caused dramatic inconveniences across sporting events. I want to thank her for her support over the year. And my third point is around 450 Pascack Road. There was supposed to be some grant processes or grant writing to take place to potentially secure funds for this property. I know in the past we did get grant dollars, but we were not able to utilize them in time. So I was just asking, where are we with the grant writer? I know that we are paying for a grant writer, so hopefully we're getting value out of paying for those services. Thank you, and I wish all of you a happy holidays.
Thank you, Mr. Scalia. Anyone else on the line? Motion to close.
Nope, that's it.
Motion to close public comment.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
So,
Stace, do you want input or comments now if we
Yeah,
have
we're gonna-
anything
yeah, we're gonna
constructive
go-
to say?
yeah, we're gonna go through we're gonna go by everybody one by one. So, I'm gonna start if that's okay. Mr.
Sure.
Sinclair, in regards to 450 Pascack, Mr. Scalia, Mr. Udina, I know that the mayor, it is still an active item on my list. I know the mayor is working on something. I am not sure if the Green Acres, I know December 4th, Green Acres information for grants was supposed to be released. I haven't seen an update on what the requirements are yet, but I do know that there was some information released. But it is still, it's an active on my radar. I know it's active on the mayor's radar, and I'm 100% positive it's active on Councilman DeSena's radar. Mrs. Osmond, in regards to your ordinances, I will have Sue check on that to see. Sue, is the publishing date for the adoption now?
It is fine. It is fine. What she saw was there was a misprint on the end of the record. And it was republished, so all three ordinances were republished with the introduction date and the public hearing date, and then in full. So we are going to do on December 21st, and I can send her copies if she'd like, or however, but yes, we are fine. We are good to go.
Okay, if you would send her copies, I think that would clarify that.
Sure.
Come on.
We are providing answers at the end of the public comment section. The councilman, the mayor, Mr. Pollard, Mr. Tover, where necessary, are commenting also. I'm sorry if you missed those portions of the meeting. As of right now, we haven't been billed for Ninja. This is a trial, and Ninja's been very generous in working with us and giving us services that we do need. So I will say thank you to Ninja. I know people are having a negative reaction. However, I do feel it's a security issue with the recent security issues Zoom had with people breaking into Zoom meetings and showing pornography and other lewd and inappropriate things. It happened on 2 council meetings in the state of New Jersey. Mrs. Grimaldi, I do know that for Viviano, they did receive the farmland exemption that came from a judge. And if you go out to the Bergen County court system, you can see the judgment from the judge was there. So that is something the town has to follow because it did come from a judge. Mr. Ullman, we are following up the sunset for farmland. I don't believe we received a response on that. Mr. Tova was not at that meeting, and I think that we're just waiting for follow-up on that. I'm sure the mayor can give us a better answer on the cost of the remediation for the oil tank.
I've got that.
And the reason the DPW site is not public yet is because it hasn't been. It's going to be discussed, I believe, this evening, and plans for this was already answered in a previous meeting where they already have a plan for remediation, and I believe, Mr. Tovo, correct me if I'm wrong, it was not required to go out for bid?
It will be required to go out for bid. We do have a quote right now that way we have an idea of what we need to budget. Demolition of the current building should be under the bid threshold, so that will just go out for quotes.
Okay, so you are in the process of doing that. It's not that this is being done, in secret. It is that you are going out now for bids and that you have a plan for the demolition, correct?
Correct.
And I believe the mayor or Mr. Chobo can speak to the sale of the ambulance building. I'm not sure that's the boys. We would have to check with the green team about the Boy Scouts activity. I believe the Boy Scouts do a background check. I don't know information on that event, but I'm sure we could inquire. That's all I have. Councilman Cummings?
Yes, ma'am. I'm happy to relay to you that I was at the Public Safety Building meeting on, I think it's November 10th, the one before the mayor was at the more recent one. And I asked that question specifically of the one of the contractors at the meeting. Where was the oil tank and what was it and how much to remediate it? And he said it turned out to be a kind of either seepage pit or dry well, as we used to call them, and it was a non-issue. It was absolutely not a problem with DEP or anybody else. There was no oil and no oil tank, so it's a non-issue and no cost. That's all.
Wonderful. Actually, that's great news for the town. Yes, absolutely.
Oh, sure.
Councilman Casio.
Yes. In regards to the residents that are concerned about 450 Pascack, it's on the council's radar. But as Mr. DeSena said, that is really a zoning board issue at this time. But we are keeping abreast of it. If it does come in front of the planning board, if it gets that far, the council may be able to intercede at that point. But again, this is a zoning board issue. With regards to the follow-up on the ambulance corps, I don't know what the status of that is. For Mr. Ullman, Ms. Grimaldi, I think the council president stated with regards to the Viviano refund that's a state issue. We don't get involved with that. But there's a sunset. I am unaware of what it is, but hopefully we get clarification. It's nice to hear that Ninja's not costing us anything at this time, because I personally wouldn't pay a dime for it. I think it's a horrible system, and there has been no issues that I'm aware of with security breaks anywhere on Zoom, WebEx, Google Classroom. They're pretty secure. I'm not a fan of Ninja. Just today I tried to get on, and I couldn't get on. And
You were called into the wrong number.
I'm not a fan of Ninja. With regards to Mrs. Osmond's questions with the calendars, yeah, at a time there was calendars that had pictures of the fire department, the DMS, and the police officers. Again, it was a nice thing to have so we could see who's serving the public. We might, put a name to a face and a face to a name, and I think that's a great idea. Hopefully we didn't go out to that, and we've been asking that for a couple of years, and I think that's about it for me. Thank you.
Councilman Casio, just so you know, I looked into the log and you were dialed into a different meeting. So just FYI.
Listen, that was the number that was given to me, that was forwarded to me. So either get
I was the first one.
or don't give me the information.
That might have been an old one. That could be. I forwarded you the new one you were able to dial in, so that's great. Councilman DeSena.
Thank you. A few things. The three ordinances that the council voted on at the last meeting, we had a great presentation by Stan from T&M Associates at the planning board meeting. He did a great job explaining what the changes were needed and required by state statute and the master planner. And it would have been nice to have that for the council meeting before we voted. That's why I voted no. 450 Pascack Road is on my mind. It's not going away. I'm disheartened that we were told that the homeowner doesn't live there. I've gone by many a night and he is somehow in that abode. I think the property maintenance officer should be sent immediately. he does live there. I've got pictures all day and night. His cars are there. That house is in deplorable conditions and probably not inhabitable. So, if we could send a welfare check, whatever we need to do, nobody should be living in that home, unfortunately. On the Viviano property, I asked at the last meeting, as part of their farmland exemption, they're required to sell $500 worth of wood and have a tree planting program, which our tax assessor is supposed to verify on a yearly basis for the exemption to continue to exist. We still haven't received any information on that, so I will be voting no on that again because we still haven't received that information. And it is not up to anybody else but our tax assessor to verify if they are meeting the qualifications to be a farmland exemption. On the DOT grant, we will be paving Hudson Avenue in the municipal parking lot. That's what the grant was for from the DOT for $210,000, the mayor said before. And my final topic is the firehouse. I was on the firehouse committee before I was, for some reason, taken off that committee without being told so. I could bring a lot to the table. I've designed and built 6 firehouses in Upper Bergen County as the engineer representative in Waldwick, Glen Rock, Midland Park. So if there's any help I could assist, I'd just like to know what I did wrong to be taken off the committee. So if somebody can get back to me in the administration, I'd appreciate it. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Councilman DeSena. Councilwoman Morgan.
Okay, so just a couple of comments I have. 450 Pascack is on my radar. Actually, I initially went there before all of this happened last year, and I felt the same thing as Mr. DeSena, that it is deplorable, and I was concerned for the person living there. So I definitely think a welfare check is at minimal, a welfare check is in order. But just to Mr. Scalia and Mr. Sinclair, it's still very active on my radar. For Mr. Ullman's question regarding the background checks for volunteers, I'm going to follow up on that. To be honest, I was thinking it was more of the sports and recreation type of background checks. So being that we really didn't have much in the last 7 months, it sort of, it didn't fall off my radar, but was kind of on the sideline. I will put forth as much effort as I can, and I will try before the next meeting to get an email back to you, or at the very least give a report at the next meeting where we are with that. What else? With the Mr. Scalia asked a question about the grant writer. I too had brought that up, and we had Mr. Tovo had brought the grant writer in to the meeting not too long ago. I would ask that we do that more often, if not monthly, if that's not a reasonable ask. We can probably do it at least quarterly to have the grant writer come in so he can update the public to where we are with the grants that we have applied for, and maybe hear from the public with some of the things that they would like. Mr. Tovo, is that something we can do?
Yes, that's very reasonable.
Okay, and that's it. And I just want to thank Mr. Scalia for your kind words this year. As you know, that's near and dear to my heart, and we did the best we could with what we had this year, and the families in town were just tremendously supportive. The boys did a fantastic job, and that's a big commitment. That's a big kudos to the families for coming out and supporting our new normal. So that's all.
Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Regarding all the comments on 450 Pascack, that will be one of the items we are discussing in close this evening. So it is actively moving along, but for reasons I cannot go into right now, it has to be done in closed at this point. Regarding the calendar and names in them, for the past few years, we asked the department heads of the departments that were referenced if they would like the names. The past few years have been no, but we will be asking this year again to see if there's any change. Just trying to see what hasn't been answered already. Regarding the Veterans Day service, I did not cancel the service. That is not my service to run. It is run by the VFW's post commander. I am an invited speaker. and that is my role as far as that service goes. So I will pass the comments along to him about putting the REITs out. Let's see. Yes, I was corrected on the oil tank. That was the initial information that we had given, is that it might have been an oil tank. But then, as Councilman Cummings stated, turned out to not be one. So there was no cost, I'm happy to say. We got lucky on that one. I echo what Councilwoman Morgan said about the background checks on coaches. I'd have to look at the ordinance again, and I'll be happy to see whether that is just sports related, or if it applies to projects like the Green Team does, and when they get the scouts involved in either a cleanup or something like that. I'll take a look at the ordinance again. DPW site plan, as I said in my opening remarks, we think we have a good plan in place. We have one more meeting this week to kind of dot the i's, cross the t's before we present it to the public and the council at the next meeting. Regarding the sale of the ambulance building, I want to say, Ken, you can correct me if I'm wrong. Yeah. It's not really a sale, but it is maybe a $1 transfer or something like that.
I'll go into that.
Okay, all right. If you'll go into that, I appreciate that. To Mr. Scalia's comment about rentals and can we have a maximum number in town, we'll certainly research that. And yes, we'll get a welfare check out on 450 Pascack, in addition to the code enforcement official out there within the next day or two. I think I covered everything I had that was not previously covered, so thank you.
Mr. Collar.
Yes, okay, a few things. 450 Pascack Road. I did say I would talk to the planner, not the planning board. I really can't, I'm not authorized to talk to the planning board. I said I would talk to the planner. I did talk to the planner, did talk about the master plan, have arranged for the planner to come tonight, and he's going to be in closed session to discuss various options. As the mayor said, it is in closed session because it involves possible litigation, it involves negotiation, acquisition, it involves a variety of things which come into closed session. So that's going to be discussed tonight. As far as the ordinances are concerned, they are technical ordinances, the COA ordinances. Stan does a terrific job. That is why I have him scheduled to come in not only tonight to go over things with the council on those ordinances as well as other COA things, but he's also scheduled to be at the meeting, the public meeting for those ordinances, which is going to occur on the 21st. The reason that we got the introductions and we wanted the introductions is there's a time period that the ordinance had to go to the planning board for a recommendation and they had 30 days to do it. We have a limited amount of time to get these things done. So that's why we put it on for introduction. People have a right to not vote for it if they want at the second meeting, obviously passing it if you didn't like it or something like that. But the reason that it was put on to begin with was a timing issue. It had to go on very, very quickly, and Stan was scheduled actually to come in. But if you remember, that meeting had to be shortened. But that was the purpose of doing that, so that we comply with our judgment of repose, our compliance and repose, and the town was not hurt by the delay. As I said, he will be available tonight. He will be available on the 21st as well. As far as the farmland assessment, I'm not going to talk about the woodland requirements. That is something that the assessor has to respond to. I thought he would have responded to it, but as far as a sunset, I mean, I'm not going to say that I'm an expert in farmland assessment. There is no automatic assessment, but when the use changes, it does change back to to a non-farmland, and there is a 2-year rollback, which we discussed last time. As far as the ambulance corps, it's not a purchase. It wasn't a sale. There was a reversion. There was a provision in the deed that when the ambulance corps was given the property, once it was not being used for delivering of ambulance type services to the town, it would revert back to the town. In conjunction with the lease that we negotiated with the ambulance corps and putting them in the emergency service building, it was required that they reconvey the property to the township. as part of that transaction of them going into the emergency service building. As a result, we had the ambulance corps execute a deed, the other recording documents necessary, and we established an escrow agreement where those documents would be held in escrow. So when the lease was commencing, the documents would be released from escrow and would be recorded. So that's how that's being handled. Let's see if there's anything else. I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think I covered anything that had to do with me, but that's all I have.
Thank you, Mr. Pollard. Mr. Tovo, do you have anything to add?
Yes, I have 2 items, Ms. Feeney. Number one, for WCTV, those bills are paid via voucher. So once we receive the voucher, we do pay for those services. Sometimes they do come in bundles and not monthly.
Yes, I wanted to, Ricky just texted me, actually, Mr. Tovo, thank you for saying that. And he said to Mrs. Osmond that he actually submitted the vouchers late. So he is taking responsibility for that. That was not the town paying him late.
And secondly, to add to Mr. DeSenda's answer regarding the DOT grant, he is correct. Hudson Avenue and the municipal parking lot are part of that, but Bridge Street is part of that grant as well. And that's all I have.
Thank you. Sue, do you have anything to add? Did we went over the ordinances, right? So we're good there. You're going to forward them on.
Right. No, I think that was it. The public notices, Ricky's checks. I was going to say that, there were times where, Ricky gets, life happens and they don't come in one at a time. And when he does it, as soon as I get them, I pass them through the line. So we work as fast as we can for Ricky because he does a great job for us.
Yes, we're very appreciative of Ricky.
Yes.
Thank you.
I think that's it for me. I can't think of anything else off the top of my head.
Okay.
Thank you.
I wanted to say to Ricky, actually, thank you very much for getting the YouTube streaming up and going and working with Sue together on that. And thank you, Ninja, for supporting that effort. I know there's some negative comments about it. However, no one else came to me when I was originally putting this together. So I believe what we have, and it's everybody's sitting here talking and everybody can hear everybody. We had some problems in the beginning, but so is with technology. So I have to say that right now, everything seems to be running smoothly. And thank you, Ricky and Sue also. Resolution.
Stacy, would it be
sorry, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Would it be possible to use the waiting room feature in Ninja like we do in Zoom? Because it's a lot better than the phone.
So we're trying that next. They're trying to make it so that we can have one person who mute. They're adding it so we can mute one person, mute everybody, and let one person speak at a time. So that's what we're testing now.
Well, yeah, like during planning, we everybody sits in a waiting room on mute, right, and then they raise their hand one at a time, and we unmute that one person.
Yeah, I hope to have that up and running for the next meeting. That's what we're working on now.
Thank you.
Yeah, because the YouTube thing was big, so we wanted to make sure we could do that and do the waiting room at the same time. So, because we had to get that magic box to come in, so we could stream. Gotcha. Okay, but no, definitely. Anybody else? Okay. Resolutions and consent agenda. The following items have been determined to have the unanimous consent of council, will be enacted in one motion. Should any item require independent consideration, any council member may have such items removed from the consent agenda. Does anyone want to have any of the items on the consent agenda removed? I would like to have the bill list removed.
I would like to
Bill
have
314 removed, please.
I echo that.
314, please.
314 and 324, I'd like to have removed, please.
I'm sorry, which was the third one?
314 and 324 is the ones I want removed, please.
Right, the bill list and, okay, the first one. Anybody else?
Okay. That's it.
All right, motion to approve consent agenda resolutions, resolution number 20 325, authorize tax collector to refund tax overpayment by CoreLogic various properties in the total amount of $17,000.
Is that better?
70, resolution number 20-326, authorize tax collector to refund tax overpayment
Take your mask off.
B2506L10 44 Ridgewood Road in the amount of $6,641.14. Resolution number 20327, authorize refund and payment to lien holder B4306L22 405 Beach Street in the amount of $85,284.26. Resolution number 20-328, authorize refund of engineering escrow monies B4511 L1 145 Hickory Street in the amount of $612.75. Resolution number 20-329, authorize the police department to participate in the Defense Logistics Agency Law Enforcement Support Office 1033 program. Resolution number 20-330, shared services agreement for TV inspection with Northwest Bergen County Utilities Authority, current year 2021 through 2022. Motion to approve the consent agendas I mentioned. Motion to approve?
So moved.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay, the first resolution for discussion is resolution number 20-314. Authorize tax collector to refund of excess taxes paid B1306L2463 Van Emberg Ave in the amount of $12,572.51. May I have a motion? A motion. I need a second, please.
Second.
Discussion?
I'd like to see the tax collector's certification that they've met the farmland exemption as per the woodlands exemption before we vote on this, or it should be
Mr.
tabled.
Tovo, do you know if this was part of what the judge decided on this? Was that documentation provided in that aspect?
I'm not sure of that. I'll have to look into it.
I'd like to see that information. I
I'm
haven't
sorry,
seen
Mr.
that.
Tovo, could you say, I'm sorry, Mr. Tovo?
I would have to look into that. I'm not aware of, we're fully aware of the judge's decision on this. So I'll check with our tax assessor and get back to council.
He needs
I
to
would suggest we table it.
certify,
I'm
Mr.
sorry,
Tovo,
just one at a time, please.
Mr. Tovo, he needs to certify that the tree plantings as per the reforestation was done, and that and he needs receipts for the $500 of wood that they've sold to other than themselves, as per the farmland.
We have to get I think we have to get the documents from the court to see what they stipulate before we start throwing out what the requirements are. I'd like to see what the court case says to
Stacey,
see what
the
the actual
document-
requirement. I'm sorry.
Stacey, the
Go
documents
ahead,
are
Ms.
available.
Councilman DeSena, go ahead.
The documents are available. They've been given to us numerous times. There's two statements that he needs to qualify to continue the farmland exemption. There's
But
$500
the
worth.
details aren't in, the details on who he can sell it to are not in there.
Yes, they
Doesn't
are.
say, where does it say it can't be themselves?
It's got to be to the public.
Okay.
So they can't be the
So
public
to the,
themselves.
Mr. Chovo, then, to be clear, to the public,
And they need to replant trees as per the reforestation plan that they submitted. I'd like to see pictures of those trees where they were planted and that they were in complete compliance with that agreement.
Receipt, how about
So
receipts?
I'd like to make a motion. I'd like to make a motion to table this until we get that information.
okay, Mr. Cummings, what were you saying? I'm sorry.
How about receipts for the trees they bought and planted?
Thank you, Mr. Cumming. That's an even better idea.
How about both? If you have,
I would be available to go out and inspect the replanting.
Okay, Mr. Cummings, that's great. Why don't you coordinate with Mr. Tovo then, and then the tax assessor on that?
Whatever they decide.
Perfect.
Mr. DeSena, I didn't know you were eliminated from any committee, and there's a 2:00 meeting tomorrow at the trailer.
Okay, we need to talk about that at a different time, Mr.
I'm
Cummings.
sorry. Yeah, I'm
Yes,
sorry.
Sorry, that's not on the,
I'll catch up with Mr. DeSena later.
okay.
I
Thank you,
apologize.
Mr. Cumming.
Anybody else for Viviano?
So are we tabling it, Stacy?
Yeah, I don't, yeah, well, I think we could table it. That's fine. Let's get the information, but is
Yeah,
there a
let's table
time
it.
limit? We have a time limit here.
What's the time limit?
I don't know. I'm asking.
Oh, I don't know. I thought you said there was one.
I'm
I
not
don't
saying
think
there's a
there's a
time
time
limit. I'm
limit
just asking.
Now, there's usually
I'm unaware of a time
for refunds, there's usually I think it's 60 days generally on refunds before interest runs, but I think these are legitimate questions that should be answered. This is not a big ask of the assessor.
No, right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So I'll make a motion to table it.
I
We're
think
just, we're gonna table. We don't have to.
Mr. Dissent already made that motion.
Right. We're gonna table it.
Gotcha. Thank you.
Okay, the next item is the bill list. Anybody before me or me?
You want me to go?
Go ahead, Mr. Cummings.
I've got,
Do we have a motion in a second, please?
Oh, sorry, my fault. Okay, resolution number 20-324. May I have a motion?
So moved.
Okay, I'll second. Discussion, Mr. Cummings. Sorry, Sue.
I'm sorry.
Mr. Cummings, go ahead on the bill list.
Page, I've got it sticky over the page.
Which, are you on the actual list or are you on the
Yes,
general
I'm
ledger?
on the first list.
Okay,
Page number 9, All-American Ford, $4,500 for a transmission for a police car. Are they that old? That worn out? Is this something you would do for your own car?
Mr. Tovo, do you have information on that?
This is one of the older vehicles, but that vehicle is, does make money for the township based on outside details. And because of that, we charge the repair to the police trust where the outside detail money comes in, so the vehicle could continue to be used in that capacity. They assume they'll get a few more years worth of use out of it.
Second question, and I think I know the answer to this, but I'm page 10, Home Depot, Milwaukee chainsaw, and batteries, at least a 2-pack. Is there safety equipment that has to be bought, or has it been bought for this? And is someone qualified to operate it? These are extremely dangerous.
Are you referring to the ones purchased by the fire department?
I don't know who got it. It doesn't say that.
It does say fire department in the third column, fourth
Am I
column.
missing something? Okay. All right. Should I go to the fire department then?
I'll do that for you, Mr. Cumming.
I just hope they bought the safety chaps and the safety helmet with earmuffs and have somebody who knows what they're doing. Otherwise, it's terribly dangerous. But of course, they're firemen. Thank you, Mr. Tova.
You're welcome.
My question was actually on the chainsaws also. Do they usually go to Home Depot? Do we get a discount, or do they price out to like A.W. Meyer, or is it put out or anything like that, or we get the best price at Home Depot?
If I recall, this purchase was an emergency purchase by the fire department during the last tropical storm that we had. They were assisting in trees, so Home Depot was really the only option to fill that need.
That was my only question. Anybody else on the bill list?
Yes, please, Mrs. Feeney. Where do we buy all these chairs, Mr. Tovo, for $3,500?
On page.
They through WB Mason?
Yeah, WB Mason. We have two invoices: leather back chairs and mesh back chairs.
Correct.
On the first page, right, Councilman
Yeah.
DeSena?
Yeah, I'm
Okay.
using the abridged sheet because it's easier. I'm sorry.
No, that's okay. I just want to make sure I'm on the right page on the right
Yeah,
sheet. that's
one
all.
of 6, please.
Yeah, no problem.
Where did all those chairs go, Mr. Tova?
They were dispersed amongst the office personnel.
We just bought office chairs for everybody last year, I thought.
No, we never made the purchase till this year.
Oh, okay. Well, that answers that then. Okay. My next question is we just purchased $40,000 worth of computers. Who was that for? On page 2 of 6.
That was in the capital budget for the police for their in-car computers.
Yeah, we
Okay.
talked about that at budget.
Yeah, but it doesn't say in-car computers. It just says WinPro computers. If that's
Okay.
fine. I wanted to Durante light tower, 6 light towers, Mr. Tova, we got delivered.
Correct. We had to light Memorial Field.
That's right.
Okay. Borough of Emerson, repair of camera on the blank for $627.
Yeah, I do recall seeing this one earlier, and I did also ask for a further explanation. I know there was work Emerson did for us. The purchasing did not get back to me before today's meeting, so once I have that answer, I will send it out to council.
And just another one that kind of caught me off guard. IP Video Corporation liquor license investigation.
What page is that on?
2 of 6.
Sorry, where?
2 of 6 at the bottom of the, right after the camera. It's the next line after the repair of the camera.
Wait, on page 2?
Of 6. I'm on the short abridged version, the quick cut sheet.
I did that.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I printed the longer version, so
I don't see
Not
where
seeing
that
that.
is either.
It's a check for IP Video Corporation for $189, and the explanation is liquor license investigation.
Oh, I see it. It's Mr. Tovo, it's on page 6. The purchase order list, it says police training, actually. It goes-
Yeah, I was just going to jump in. I remember when I signed the PO, it was to train a new officer to do liquor licenses.
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah.
On who is W.E. Timmerman Company? They had freight, and it doesn't give any explanation, Mr. Tova.
How much is that for?
Just under $300. It just doesn't give us any information. W.E. Timmerman Company on page 3 of 6.
I think I'm missing
Timber
that.
is one of our DPW vendors, so I believe
Okay.
that was for the capital items that we ordered.
All right, that's fine. I just didn't, it doesn't give you any explanation, so I was just curious who that was. And then my final, we're paying 2 invoices for the emergency services building. First thing, can we spell emergency correctly? And it's over $400 and something thousand of invoices we're paying. Do we have certification letters from the engineer and the architect stating that we're at that point of billing?
We do.
Okay.
We don't pay until we receive that from the architect.
Can that justification be provided? Because we're at $500,000 on a, it's over 10% of the project already, and we haven't even gotten out of the ground.
Yes, we can do that.
There was a crane there I saw. Nice. Emma, we drove by and Emma said, "Oh, look, there's a purple crane."
I have a question.
Nice.
That's all I have.
So, can I get? Okay. I think I asked this last time, but just to refresh my memory, the teen center floor, teen center for the rest of summer rec teen program, 1,764. What is that for? We didn't have any of that. Like a contract that we're paying anyway, regardless, or what is that?
On page 4?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's for $1,764.85. Correct. I had that on my list, Desiree. I just forgot it.
Yeah. I had
Yeah,
asked.
I checked with Recreation on this, and they reported it was billing for prior to the COVID shutdown, to which I responded, that sounds far too high for 2.5 months. So they were looking into it with Westwood, and we still have not received an answer. That seems like a yearly bill, not a, couple of months.
The 1,500 seems like it was the same yearly bill as last year, and then the 264 was like for the other time, for the summer.
Okay, so we're gonna hold that
Summer
check
rec.
until we have an answer.
What's that?
We processed one before it does, right? Because this is the second time we're asking this question.
Right. Right, I asked that, Mr. Tovo, do you remember when I asked it? I don't know if it was last meeting or the meeting before, last month or the month before.
I thought we pulled it until we got an answer on this, and I'm surprised to see it back on here, so I would respectfully recommend we pull it again.
Can you see if it was paid twice also?
Well,
Yes, I can.
it was paid twice because I believe the first check never made it to them. And so these bills are very old, and I guess it's taken them a while to reconcile and say they didn't get the check. And so we had to put a stop payment on it and reissue it. I don't disagree that we can get you further explanation, but I do remember that sequence of events happening.
I do want to, a few meetings ago, Mr. Tovo, I asked about American Asphalt. I did check a few of the streets. There's still been no remediation. Has the engineer gone out to look at the height of the pavement to the curb to make sure there's not going to be a water issue on those streets?
To the best of my knowledge, there's only one issue remaining, and I believe it's on Stratford Court, where the engineer is working with the contractor to remedy the issue there. But he has reported that all other punch list work has been done. So if you have any items that have not been addressed, please let me know.
Okay, if you could ask him to check, I'll send you the list of streets where I know the curbs, the pavement to curb to the grass, it's very, very low. There's not a lot of, there's not a lot, it could cause a problem because there is water that happens on a few of these streets during the spring months and then when the snow melts.
Sure, if you have a list, I very much appreciate that.
Okay, no problem.
Mr. Tovo, did you ever get a response with the stop signs that don't meet the stop bars and are not in compliance with the Manual of Uniform Traffic Control Devices?
I did. I spoke to our engineer about it, and he is working with DMF to have that corrected.
How long will that take? Because there's a lot of them, and it's a
To be quite frank, we really need to get through leaf season, and that's going to be one of the tasks we will turn to after.
Okay.
Okay, motion, we're good on the bill list? Okay, motion to approve resolution number 20-324 minus the few items Mr. Chadwick is going to check on. Authorized payment of bills November 6, 2020 to December 2nd, 2020. I'll make a motion. I need a second, please.
So moved.
Okay. Do roll call?
Councilman Casio?
Yes.
Councilman Cumming?
Yes.
Councilman DeSena?
Yes.
Councilwoman Morgan?
Yes.
Council President Feeney?
Yes. Okay, adjournment to conference agenda. I'll make a motion. I need a second, please.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, I've been asked if we could just take a 5-minute break by somebody. So we're just gonna take a 5-minute break.
Okay.
Sure, you're up first with the project tracker.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome, no problem. Do you want me to forward you the packet also?
He did get it electronic.
No, I'm just missing that sheet. It's somewhere in my pile here.
Okay.
Starting with our capital project, page 1. Some of this is already reported on by the mayor. The 19 road program is completed. Obviously, there's more punch items that need to be taken care of. I will address that with the vendor. PSC&G is also done for this year. The mayor has previously reported on the intersection. The chassis for the ladder truck has been ordered. Again, the mayor reported on the radio system upgrade. The in-car computers are the item that Mr. DeSena raised on the bills list. The loader claw and snow removal equipment is with the upfitter, so we should have them on our equipment shortly. Renovations to DPW, Mayor again covered that. Also, he covered signage. I just want to add one thing to that. The old welcome to signs that we had in 2 locations have been removed to be refaced and then put back in their original location. And they'll have the stigma-free signs also attached to them. And no other further updates on that page. Going to the project page. Town Hall light repair due to drainage. Just to be clear on this, the majority of this project was drainage and leaks in the PD. The lighting was really never part of the vendor scope. That being said, it's finally finished. The seal coating that needed to be done was done a couple weeks ago. Town access control, a further update since this was prepared. We now have we've now received the final design and pricing for that. And the building control system has been awarded to Ryan Contracting.
Mr. Tova, can we see the bids received on the building control systems, please, and the packet that went out?
Certainly.
How many bids did we receive?
We only received 1.
Okay. Do we know what the amount of that bid was? Because it's not on this sheet.
Yeah, I will send you a copy of it. I'll send the entire council a copy.
Thank you.
Mr. Tova, could you inquire with the grant writer? I know Green Acres, they released something on December 4th, but I couldn't find it on their website. Could you inquire with him if he is up to date on that? I don't see what the plan is for this year.
Yeah, we discussed this last week. That things actually pushed back to January.
Okay.
In light of all we have going on, there are a number of high priority items that he is working on, and 450 is one of those items.
Okay, so it was pushed. They know they were going to release something on December 4th for the decision for the application for 2020, and then they pushed it to January. Because their website
Correct.
does say that they're transitioning to working remote. Does anybody else have anything else on the bill list, on the project tracker, sorry? Okay,
No.
Mr. Tovo, you're up with best practices survey?
Yeah, as most council members are aware, this is an annual survey prepared by the township. This year's score was 87%, which is well above the required threshold. A little different this year is the fact that much of the questions were not scored questions. They were simply informational only on COVID protocols and some other related items. Again, pretty self-explanatory. Any questions regarding our respective answers?
The only question I had, I saw that there was a score of 0.5 for cybersecurity. Can you relate what the issue is with that? We didn't score.
Yeah, the issue with the cybersecurity is we were waiting for the GIF to come out with an updated training program, and with COVID, that also got delayed. So I'm looking for either an answer from them as far as when that's going to come out, or a different vendor to provide it.
Okay, because it seems like there's a few of those that are issues with security. So I want to make sure we're tight with that. That's all. That was my question. Thank you.
Stacy, I apologize. My microphone went on mute. I had a question for Mr. Tova. Mr. Tova, is there any reason we're not using the bids and the RFP tab on our municipal website for all these bids that are going out, whether they're under the threshold or not?
No, there's no reason. We certainly can use it.
But how come we haven't been using it? I know in the past we've always used it, and I haven't seen anything posted there in months. And I know we've gone out for bids on, signs and all kinds of stuff.
Again, we could certainly start using that. Typically, we advertise it, and in the case of the building controls, I was provided a list of interested vendors by Mr. Cumming, and they were sent to all of those interested parties.
Okay, but I think it would be beneficial and fiscally responsible if we posted them on our website. This way, people that aren't on your list would be able to review them if they'd like to call you and pursue them.
So they're also in the newspaper, correct, Mr. Chovo?
No, they're not.
So your point's well taken, Mr. DeSena. We will begin posting them.
Thank you, Mr. Tova.
Okay, anybody else on the best practices survey?
Who prepared that survey, Mr. Tova?
Myself and the CFO.
Thank you. That's all I have, Mrs. Feeney.
The RFP municipal architect is the next item, Mr. Chovo?
Yes, both the RFP for the architect and the bid document for recycling were sent to council for review and comment. Mr. Pollard has reviewed them and they've passed legal muster, so I'm really just looking for comments from council as far as any additions, deletions, or changes. So if you don't have any now and you want more time to review, please email me or call me with those comments.
I did have a question. I'm sorry, I did have a question. It's a term for 1 year, correct?
On the architect?
Yeah, and that's going to be, but it's asking for the qualifications of at least 5 years in all aspects of architectural services. Are we looking for the advice from a firm, or do we really just want one person?
It can be a firm or it can be an individual practitioner, but our goal here is to pick the most qualified firm or person to give us direction and a plan on the new DPW facility.
Okay.
Why would you talk about?
And it's going to, and I'm sorry, Mr. Sen, and it's going to be just for that single project only?
Yes.
Okay, so
Why wouldn't we go out for an RFQ for the project itself and not hiring a municipal architect?
Because we don't have enough of a scope to actually put that into a bid format. We have a needs assessment and really not much more than that. So in speaking to qualified, experienced municipal architects, their response was, "You're just not ready for that. So you need to get an architect involved to move it along."
is this what other towns do when they have, like you're saying, in scope, like this, the project of this size is they would hire for one single project? Is this what other towns do?
You can hire for one project. You can hire for multiple projects. It's
Mr. Tova, why wouldn't we go out for a needs assessment survey to program the space and then give that architect the ability to go on to phase 2, but get them to submit to us instead of us hiring one person and being stuck with one person?
Well, we do have a space needs analysis that's rather on the older side, and according to those I spoke to, that's not quite enough for us to go to bid or get an accurate bid for the project. There's just not enough information.
Absolutely, but that's why we would go out for an RFQ to hire, to have firms submit to us and therefore submit their qualifications and their experience history, where we could have multiple, we'd have multiple firms submitting in this environment.
But wouldn't you get the same thing with this, because you're not asking
what we're doing.
You're not asking. You're not asking for one person. You are asking for like the initial, where everybody would submit their information, because it talks about the basis of award of professional services and minimum qualifications and responsibilities and duties.
If there's no scope, there's no scope in this, Mrs. Feeney. He's going to create his own scope.
I understand that. I get it completely, but no, but but if you take a look at Mr. Tovo's point of view of what we need support on in order to accomplish the goals of the project, is what he's saying. Not that he's saying he's trying to hire somebody to limit the project or the scope of the project, but he's trying to hire someone that can bring us to where the project needs to be. I think it's what you're saying is in one perspective, and what he's saying is a completely different perspective, with trying to get the information, the planning up front.
Typically, you like to hire a firm based on their qualification and their experience of what we're designing and building. And once they submit that, it's the intent of the administration in our form of government to choose the most qualified firm to take you through phase A, B, C, and D, depending on how many phases there are. So if we hire this one person, he or she's firm, you know, it's right now they're writing their own scope.
Mr. Chova, could you?
Quite frankly, I'm not following Mr. DeSena. What we're looking
I
to
agree.
do here is hire an architect or an architectural firm to move this project along. We don't have enough of a scope to really give much more detail than that out. Now, through the vetting process, we're going to find out who's most qualified of those potential bidders to do this work based on their experience.
From 5 years ago, are we giving them those plans, Mr. Tova?
I'm sorry, what's that?
The plans from 5 years ago, are we making that part of this RFP?
I don't know that we should. I think that we need to have a clean slate on this.
You mean you're looking for a new perspective by not giving them the plans? Is that the idea?
Yeah, I think when you look back over those plans over the years, they were kind of fragmented. I'm not sure they would be of a lot of value.
I'm not saying they're not fragmented, but you know, it gives them an idea of what we're looking to do there. You know, it is a limited site, so I don't understand. Like, we hired Mr. Connolly to build the firehouse, right? We told him we wanted a new firehouse. He gave us a proposal and he programmed it, and he took it to final design. So why would we hire a municipal architect and not just the firm to build us a new DMF like we do on every other project?
We're going out for RFQ to determine who the most qualified person, in our opinion, it would be to accomplish just that.
I think you're both saying the exact same thing. It's just a different approach. He's not saying he's not looking to hire the most qualified
I'm not
firm
saying
or individual, but that's what's being repeated. I'm just trying to say it a different way, is that he's saying that because the previous plan is Mr. Tovo, and I'm sure the administration has looked, they feel it's not cohesive and it's fragmented. They're looking to start from a different perspective, which is kind of like they're looking for a better perspective on the project.
Yeah, and
wouldn't that be in the best interest of the town?
But I'm saying, why would we hire a municipal architect and not an architect of record for the new DMF building? That's my.
He said in the beginning there wasn't enough of other things to go on to hire a municipal architect. There was really only a need for this project. Correct, Mr. Jovo?
Well, just to clarify Mr. DeSantis' statement, would you prefer that we just narrow the scope of this and indicate that it's just for a DPW facility?
Absolutely.
Okay, that's fine. We can do that.
That's what I'm looking for.
But I'm confused as to why.
I don't want to give carte blanche for us to have a municipal architect to do pet projects for that we have not discussed. You know, I want it to be limited, that it's for the DPW only. That's all. And that's why, just like we did for the firehouse, right? Mr. Conley was for the firehouse.
We can do that.
Thank you.
Peter, you're on mute. Peter, you're on mute.
Sorry about that. Yeah, sorry about that. Number one, there would be no pet projects that the council would not be aware of. Number two, sorry being on mute. I lost my train of thought, but the person still stands. No pet projects. Oh, yes, and council controls the purse strings, so we would have to have money to pay the architect for these said pet projects. So that is the checks and balances in place.
And Mr. Powell, you reviewed this and, okay, everything looks in order, so we can move forward, except for the changes Mr. Chobo's gonna put in?
Well, yeah, let's see the changes he's putting in.
Okay.
I just like this to be made for the DPW only, that's all.
Yeah, it's changing the scope of things.
Yeah, what we've only heard from Mr. DeSena. I'd like to hear from the others, whether they agree or disagree.
I'm almost with Lynn. I'm okay either way. I see value in having a municipal architect, and I don't see. I agree with you, Mayor, that we're gonna, at the end of the day, be able to see if there are projects in place that we didn't approve of or we weren't aware of. Either way, it doesn't matter to me.
Yeah, I mean, in my opinion, it gives us more of a scope. Should we have a project that we want to consider immediately, we're not going out piecemeal for all these projects. We can lump it under one. Not to say that we can't ever hire a special architect for a special project, but this just gives us more flexibility going forward to respond to things more quickly.
Art, you're on mute. Art, you're on mute.
I said that's where I should be most of the time. I'm sorry. I was agreeing with the mayor for a change and the fact that I think we shouldn't limit ourselves. Suppose something comes up that Mr. DeSena and Mr. Casio want and that we want to go ahead with, then we have to go through this whole process again in finding a person. So if we just limit it to one project, I think we're shortchanging ourselves. That's all. I'll go back on mute.
We can't afford anything else, Mr. Cummings.
Right, and I have to agree with Councilman Morgan, Councilman Cummings, the mayor. If we have somebody available to us, we are actually controlling the spend, and if we have somebody who is vested in the town, I think that's a good thing also. And I don't see any downside to not limiting this and leaving the scope as is. So I'm in favor of leaving the scope as is.
Well, I oppose to leaving an open end myself. Regarding the present DMF, we have a lot of different plans for that particular project from different vendors. They should be at least utilized or looked at. And when you have I shouldn't say carte blanche. I know we control the purse strings, but it does leave you some generalities. I like to have specific architects and specific professionals to look at projects, not just the general. You're not building a house. You're building a lot of things that need specific oversight. And I think when you have a general, anyone, you kind of do some damage. So, again, I wouldn't be in favor at this point.
Mr. Tova, could you provide a list of towns our size, other than large inner cities, that have municipal architects on staff?
Also, Mr. Mayor and Mr. Tovo, on your thoughts, even though we wouldn't be building a house, because we're talking about a DPW building, wouldn't we also control what projects this person would work on? We would have a say in what's going on?
Yes, of course we would.
Okay, so that's good to know that we would have a say into what projects he would be working on, or she, or the firm, excuse me.
As far as other towns, I'm not saying we can't put that together, but why can't we be the first or second who does this? We don't always have to depend on other towns. If we think this is a good idea, let us be the trailblazers for a change.
That's your opinion. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
That's a good opinion. It's not everybody's opinion is good.
We're going to put a roof on the municipal building in the near future. At least I've been saying it for 2 years so far. And then when we get around to that, maybe an architect would have, for a few hours, some good ideas on improvements that could be made. And also the layout in the municipal building is at least confusing, if not horrendous. It's grown like Topsy. And it's all very strange, and there's a lot of unused and poorly used space. So why don't we get someone involved in space planning? Oh, just a thought.
So I'd like to make a motion to take a vote on leaving the scope as is and moving forward with this. May I have a motion?
So moved.
Second? Desiree, you're on mute, just FYI.
Second.
Okay, Stu, roll call.
All right, now we're doing this to leave it as is, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okie dokie. All right, so we will have Councilman Casio,
No.
Councilman Cumming,
Yes.
Councilman DeSena,
No.
Councilwoman Morgan,
Yeah.
Council President Feeney.
Yes. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Mrs. Feeney, can I make a statement? Mrs. Feeney, can I make a statement for my no?
Shouldn't you have done that at the time of the no?
It's fine.
Notice, Mr. Tovo, you're up. Notice to bidders recycling curbside collection.
Yes, Mr. Feeney, once again, this is similar to the prior bid we put out for curbside pickup of recycling with a few modifications and date changes and so forth. Again, I was hoping council had a chance to review it and get back to me with comments or feedback.
The
Again,
only thing
Mr.
sorry.
No, go ahead.
The only thing I say is this past year, we did have that one confusion that they, one of the providers changed the day or canceled the day, right, Councilman DeSena? It was, they sent the notice out directly and they didn't inform the town.
Yep.
Right? Can we put something to, that they have to, that they're required based on the contract, they have to inform us, otherwise there's a penalty or we get money back or, I don't know, free day of recycling or something. I just feel like that was completely out of line what happened for this past year.
Your point is well taken. I will add that to the RFP.
Okay. That was the only thing I had, so if anybody else.
Where did we derive our basic from? If I may ask.
So Mr. Cumming, I didn't understand the question.
I put 3 quotes together, and that's how I came up with the energy spec. I derived what I thought was in the best interest of the town from 3 quotations from responsible contractors, and I was wondering, probably unimportant, where these were derived from. Plagiarism is the sincerest form of flattery, as the new president would often say. Okay, no.
Mr. Tovo, does our existing contract expire on March 1st? Is that why we're starting on March 1st?
We're currently in a carryover with both our vendors because all advice given to us, excuse me, by the state was to avoid going out for these types of bids in 2020. So we were staying in that carryover phase until we award to either the current vendors or new vendors.
Well, currently, don't we have one vendor that picks up everything?
Yes, I'm sorry, I'm recycling just one, yes.
Yes, okay.
How long do we have to look at these, or is this it?
For the bid package is just the standard documentation for the anti-collusion forms and so forth that are already ready to go out with this packet. This is the only part that I feel the council needs to chime in on.
Could we set the pickup date in conjunction with one of the other vendors' dates so we don't have garbage cans out 3 days a week like we currently do, because it's an eyesore, and I got a lot of complaints from the citizens of the town that every day there's garbage cans out. So I know, like, on Wednesdays, Waste Management picks up and Bulldog picks up recycling. So if we can keep that the same way, Mr. Tova, that'd be great. We don't want to introduce Monday where we're having garbage cans out on the street again on another day, please.
It is specified in the bid that it has to be Wednesday.
Yeah, that's perfect. Okay.
Great idea.
The other towns, I don't know if it's because it's run by the town. Wanted to, are they required to provide, do other towns with outside contractors for this, do they provide the recycling cans, or No.
No,
No? Okay.
because they're gonna blow away in a windstorm. And the recycling's gonna go all over the ground, and the cans have to be managed by the property owner. And I
Okay.
can suggest an ordinance that says you put it out at 6 o'clock, no later than 6 o'clock of the night before, and then bring it in by 5:30 of the collection day.
God bless you, Mr. Cumming. If you could do that, every citizen in Washington Township would love you, because the garbage cans go out in the morning. They go out on a Saturday for Monday pickup. It's disgusting that
I'd be happy to provide a sample ordinance for everyone's
oh yeah,
consideration.
we need somebody to enforce it, so it wouldn't matter.
Well, we have Mr. Sedekase, who's
Okay.
a very nice enforcer. He's got a very good personality. I would say he's much better than me.
That's a great idea, and it's a positive thing. So that's great. Why don't you get that going, Mr. Power? I would be definitely in favor of that.
I'll get it from Mr. Poller for tomorrow.
Because we have
After 10 o'clock.
garbage cans go out on a Saturday morning for Monday pickup, and it's atrocious.
Oh, that's not
Anybody else on the garbage? Okay. We're good? Okay. Ordinances, legislations, none. Financials,
It's not garbage, it's recycling, isn't it?
yes, recycling, sorry. Bergen County Open Space Trust Fund Award, 27,000. Dog Park, Sherry Field. I think this is just follow up on this. Did you guys have a meeting for this? Last meeting, there was go ahead, Mr. Mayor, sorry.
We have not had one yet with the green team since the since the grant amount was released. But we want to do so in the next couple of weeks and work with them to see, what plan we can come up with now with the new money.
Okay, perfect. That was my only question on that. Does anybody else have any questions on that?
No.
No, Stace, I'm sorry. I forgot when Mr. DeSena brought up the code enforcer. I thought a while back too, we had talked about, just as with the grant writer, we were going to have the code enforcer kind of give us an update on things that he.
The report, yes.
Mm-hmm.
Sue, did you happen to, Sue and Mr. Tovo, did you happen to get with Mr. Sedekase regarding, we're getting the other report that Cornelia sends? Maybe we could give Cornelia that task?
I am
No,
not.
I can work with Mr. Sedekase, make sure you have a report for the next meeting.
Okay, perfect. If we could get that for each meeting, that would be great, actually.
Right. Well, it can
You
be
want like project tracker? Why don't we do that?
right.
Yeah, right.
That.
The project
For property maintenance.
Sorry, not just like one month consistently, so we can kind of stay on it and.
Yeah, not every meeting, but one meeting per month is fine.
Right, that'd be great.
Okay.
Just like the DPW tracker we used to get, similar to that,
Yeah,
which went away this year.
that's fine. I will try to spend more time.
I actually went away years
with
ago,
them.
Mr. DeSena, and there was never anything on it.
I do remember one.
Mm-hmm.
I hope
We're
that,
lucky to have a person like Sedekase. He's got damn it, I can't talk about him, can I?
No.
Well, we're lucky to have a person in that position who has a darn nice personality. No names. I'll learn someday. You don't have to laugh at me that much, Peter.
I'm laughing with you, not never at you.
I could claim I have Tourette's, like Motherless Brooklyn guy. If you saw that movie.
I'm laughing.
Okay.
With you. That's the fact of bringing up names. It's hard to remember all the time.
I'm sorry. I forget.
Okay, good there. All right, so next is miscellaneous COVID update. That's me. I do have masks available. I have disposable masks. If anybody would like any masks, please email me or reach out on the COVID task force. If anybody has masks to drop off, my address is 1 Brayburn Drive in Township of Washington. You can drop them
Speed
off
limit
at my house
is 15.
anytime.
And the speed limit is 15.
Yes, please. Yes, we are having a speed limit issue and a speeding issue in Northgate. So please slow down.
Except not for the cops who were in here today, and boy, they were great. They were like 40 miles an hour. On a medical
So-
call.
There was a medical call, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know, I saw that, yes. I hope the person's okay. Anyway,
So far, so good.
good, okay. COVID-19 update. I have masks available. If you need a mask, please let me know. Be more than happy to drop it off as I have before. If you have masks to donate, please drop them at my home. It's 1 Brayburn Drive in Township of Washington. You can send me an email. My cell phone is also out on the COVID task force. So if anybody has masks, please, I am asking for them. If any seniors need food shopping, please reach out. If anybody is in need of meals, and there are mental health links out there if you need support. So please reach out. We are here to help you. Yes, Mr. Cummings. Is this like school? This is a ninja school.
I figured rather than let the Tourette's take over, I just raise a hand, when you said the mental health,
Okay. That's all I have. Does anybody have any questions on the COVID task force or anything? Or okay. Community project. I was contacted by one of our teachers in Washington School, and they're doing a community project for their social studies class. And I would like to get the entire council, the mayor, the administration, maybe some of the police officers involved. Is anyone on the council interested in doing that?
Sure, Stacy, I volunteer.
Okay.
And what is the project? I'm so sorry.
So it's basically going to be a video of our town, and we're all going to have a little statement and stand in front of, like, say, Memorial Field or like the Veterans Memorial or in front of Town Hall, and just do a little blurb to.
You mean the beautiful grass at Memorial Field?
The beautiful grass in Memorial Field, yes.
Thank
so that
you.
we're yeah. and then maybe Mr. Power could do a little blurb on, I don't know, something legal, who knows, and then Sue can maybe go over her job, or we could do like a brief tour of Town Hall or something, and then we're going to give it to, this is for Washington School, and we're going to submit it, and they're going to use it for more than just this year, but the second graders are learning about their community and social studies. And I thought, instead of just myself doing it, I thought I could get the whole council, the mayor and the administration, maybe even the DPW, the police department, the fire department involved. We could put together like a 15, maybe 20-minute video. I'm going to be asking our lovely PR moms to be helping. So they're so great. So if you're interested, please let me know. So Councilman DeSena is interested, and the mayor's interested. Desiree's shaking her head. Who else? Come on, Mr. Power, be fun.
No, I'm fine. I'm good with
it. He's there if we need him, as always.
He'll do a video. He'll do a video.
Just give me a script so I don't have to ad lib. Otherwise, you'll be in big trouble.
As long as I don't have to dress up in a suit.
I was going to give you the Frosty the Snowman.
I get to wear some of those new clothes I bought last year.
Maybe we could do like, what is it? It's 7 Chimneys over there, and
Best of LL Bean, Yeah.
I just thought it would be interesting because I thought that would be something nice for the schools to learn about, especially Just F. George and Washington schools.
So they can throw rotten eggs at the screen? These are your council people. Bad council people. I'm sorry.
What do you think?
Hello to Washington Township. This is the real me. This is not my brain on drugs. Maybe it should be.
I don't think I've seen Art talk this much in entire council meeting.
I'm sorry.
It's not a bad thing. I'm just saying.
Dan is waiting to get online here, so let's go. We still have time.
Stan is waiting. He's been texting me. He is waiting.
Oh, he's waiting impatiently for me to shut up. Poor Stan.
Okay, the next thing is the town calendar. I had Sue send out to everybody the dates for next year's council meetings. We had a couple of revisions. Since I haven't heard back from everybody since the second or third revision, we're going to go together with those dates. I did thankfully hear from the mayor about the zoning board meetings are going to be changing.
Planning board.
Planning board meetings are going to follow first and third week, correct?
Yes.
Correct. They will mirror the council weeks.
Perfect. That's great. So my plan is to move forward with the calendar with the mayor as soon as possible. So we can try to get it out as early as possible.
And also, by the next meeting, we may want to ask the zoning board to also think about meeting twice a month, even if they have to cancel some meetings because of no agenda.
Okay.
Monthly might be becoming an issue also. We're looking into it now.
Okay, perfect. So if they could, I've been hearing complaints from residents about how the zoning board and planning board meetings aren't really, they should be spaced out more. So was my
Yes.
recommendation to the mayor and Sue to contact them to find, to move those dates to see if we can get a more fluid schedule.
Correct.
Okay. Anybody else have anything in regards to the calendar? Okay. 2021 zoning board members, please submit your resume and or a blurb about yourself for 2021 zoning board members. Sue, you're going to post that?
I can,
Also-
if you'd like to do what we did last year, where I send out a, blurb about a letter of interest with a date coming back. Then we had posted it also in the newspaper and on the website and on the WCTV. We could do the whole blast that way if you'd like.
Yes,
What the
and I'd
council would
like
like to desire.
Yeah, and I'd like the deadlines for the submissions to be the 27th of December.
Okay.
So I have a question on that. Last year, we had a little bit of a debacle. Is it the letter of interest to suffice, or are you looking for a resume?
Well, it actually could be whatever you feel comfortable with. You're not forced to do a resume, and you're not forced, you could do a letter of interest with your resume or just a letter of interest about yourself. It's really what you're comfortable with. So, I mean, is that...
Have we discussed this with the zoning board, Mrs. Feeney?
Well, but there's some seats up. That's why we're putting this out.
I know, but I'm just saying, did we discuss it with the chairman and the zoning board itself of what we're doing unilaterally?
I thought we have to do this prior to the end of the year, as was done
I'm
last
just
year.
saying, but did you have a discussion with the zoning board chairman about what we're doing? That's all I'm asking.
What I'm just inquiring is why a conversation with the zoning board chairman is necessary.
Because it's his board.
No, it's not.
It's
No,
not. We appoint them.
I know we appoint them,
it's not.
but I know we appoint them, but we should give them a little courtesy and tell them what we're doing.
Well, I'm sure, isn't it the same process every year?
No.
But we did it last year like this.
We did do it last year like this. I'm following suit.
Fine. Just Dr. Cassio had a medical family emergency. He's waiting for the ambulance to get there, and he said he'd try to join us as soon as that's resolved.
Oh, so sorry to hear
Oh,
that.
too bad. I hope everything's okay.
That's why he had to log off so quickly.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
So I believe there's 3 seats up for zoning board. Is that correct, Mr. Mayor?
I don't know. I don't monitor zoning. I'm planning.
Oh, sorry, planning. Sorry.
That's
So,
okay.
Two, Mrs. Feeney.
I
There's
thought the
2
last
seats up?
time I heard there were 2.
Oh, there are 3.
There are
Great.
3.
Thank you, Sue.
It's not 2, Mrs.?
Well, it's 2 regular members and it's 1 alternate.
Oh, okay.
Sorry, Sue was the one who told me, not the mayor.
So a total of 3.
Okay.
All right, we talked about the council meeting dates. Everybody, I thought was okay, right, Sue?
Well,
Sorry,
as far as I did that one last flip, and unless I put it in your packets tonight, unless someone has a, concern with it, I would like to put on the next agenda as a resolution so we can get going with it. So if you have a problem with it or something, just give me a call. Let me know what you're conflict with. I think I solved the Paula's conflict.
Sure, you betcha.
We will not be having a meeting on Martin Luther King Day, just also FYI.
We are not?
No, we are not.
That is good.
It is good. Sue, can you coordinate with our web person on the calendar information?
Of course.
Thank you. Okay, Sue, did anybody have anything on council meeting dates? We're good? I know everybody got this like 2-3 weeks ago, so okay. I'm also going to be in order to get the budget out in a reasonable amount of time, I'm going to be sending out an email with the dates that we're going to start with as soon as the mayor is able to submit the budget to us. I'm going to send the email out. If you have an issue with the dates or the times, please get back to me as soon as possible, because if I don't hear from anybody, I'm going to have Sue publish those dates. Okay? so we can get a jump on things, not end up with June as of last year. I know some of it had to do with COVID, but, you know, just to be a little proactive.
And no 7 o'clock meetings.
Just a quick, if we have an issue with any of the dates privately, we're emailing, or?
Email Stu and she'll let me know and we'll go over the calendar again, okay? Does that work for everybody?
Yes.
Okay. All right, Sue, you're up.
I just wanted to mention pay to play for the professionals, meaning our municipal engineer, our labor attorney, our auditor we just hired, so that's all good. Normally at this time, if not a week before, so I would send out pay to play to all of our professionals to have it all back in time for reorg so that we can do the appointments and everything is a pretty transparent, clear process. So I just wanted to mention that's where we're at this time of year. So unless I hear something from administration on a change, I will go forward with who we have in place and send out that paperwork. So if mayor and administration should let me know.
No changes anticipated at this time.
Okay. Thank you. I will
Sue,
get
you got
those
the
out.
last one.
Yeah, parking. We have, normally at this time of year, if not again before, we send out renewals for commuter parking. There needs to be some sort of discussion on what you'd like me to do because we don't want to send something out and have no place for them to park. So I don't know where council stands, Mayor. I don't know where you stand with your conversations. But I will need to have some guidance, you know, soon,
Okay, yeah, it's
in
something-
anticipation.
Yeah, it's something that is active. We're working on reaching out to a couple of places, see if we can come up with agreements. I will impress upon them that, you know, because of the time frame, you know, even with COVID, we have to tell our people that they're going to have a place to park for next year. So I'll try and get them to accelerate a little bit.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And that's really it for that.
Okay.
Oh, well, and also one more thing, I'm sorry. We normally would charge $100 for our parking permits, so I'm assuming that we would stay the same.
We don't know yet, actually. I think that's
Oh.
basically.
We'll wait and see as we, maybe on the 21st, we might have some more answers.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, closed session, resolution number 20-331, COA litigation, condemnation litigation, acquisition of properties, negotiations by Stan Sletcheka. Motion to enter into closed session. I'll make the motion. I need a second, please.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Stacy, you might want to mention that we will
I'm
be.
gonna tell,
All right,
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell Stan to sign on, all right?
okie dokie.
It's Stan Slahetka, by the way.
Oh, I'm sorry. Thank you,
That's
sorry.
Sorry, Stan.
No, he's not on yet, so I just said it ahead of time.
Just so everybody knows, we are going to be coming back from closed session.
Okay. We are out and back into public session for December 7th, and we have resolution number 20-332, an agreement in lieu of condemnation for lots 1, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11 in block 2110.
Great,
May
thank
I
you.
have a
May I have a
motion?
motion? Right.
So moved.
Who
Second.
said so moved? I'm sorry.
DeSena.
I'm sorry. Thank you.
Second. Okay, yes.
All right, Councilman Casio, absent. Councilman Cumming,
Yes.
Councilman DeSena,
Yes.
Councilwoman Morgan,
Yes.
Council President Feeney.
Yes.
Thank you. Resolution 20-333. Agreement in lieu of condemnation, lot 64, block 3104. May I have a motion?
So moved.
Second? Councilman Casio, absent. No thirds. No thirds at this point.
Okay.
Councilman Cumming,
Yes.
Councilman DeSena,
Yes.
Councilwoman Morgan,
Yes.
Council President Feeney.
Yes.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you all.
Motion
Do
to
we need to
adjourn.
go back into close? We don't, right?
No.
Done. Okay, motion to adjourn meeting.
So moved.
Okay, I'll second. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Good night, everyone.
Good night, everyone. Thanks for
Thank you
everything.
very much.
All
Good
right.
night. Thank
Good
you.
evening.
Have a good